Let's get really into it astronomically. 5 degrees of Sagittarius marks the position essentially in the galactic center. It is the center of our Milky Way galaxy. And across Mayan civilizations, Egyptian, and even Hindu, this position marks the only place in which we can access and transform. So let's dive a little bit deeper, because the reason I want to bring this up is the new moon on December 20th, which I will do a reading. You can access my reading. But that new moon is going to be in the gate of God. And then it's followed by the winter solstice. Now, for those of you that remember, in 2012, we had this huge upheaval because the Mayan calendar stopped and it said essentially the world would end. Well, at that time, in that position in December, we came across the galactic center, the ending point, the transformation, the death position. In Egyptian mythology, this is the midway point between the gates and is a profound point of which death and transformation. Now, mind you, in any myth, these gates are heavily guided. They are guided only to let the worthy through, the pure. And for most of us, it is a marking of a deep pivotal point in a shedding. But the reason why the gate of God, why I want to talk about it so much, is because not only will we have the new moon on this position, but you will commonly hear people say, oh, the 8-8, the 12-12, and those are dates like, 9-9, September 9th, August 8th, the Lion's Portal, etc., etc. There's nothing that signifies a portal position unless it is a degree amongst the stars. It is not an arbitrary date set by Pope Gregory. Okay, so our modern calendar was created in 1582 by a pope. It does not align with the cosmos anymore, unfortunately. And so when we want to seek out a portal, when we want to seek out a gate, we must follow the degrees against the stars. We must actually see this wisdom that the ancients had laid out across lineages. And so 5 degrees of Sagittarius is that portal, is that point. Its counter is 5 degrees in Gemini, which is known as the gate of man, which is going to go deeper into the consciousness of man. Now, this opposite of it is the only gate to God, as marked in the cosmos. Now, according to the Egyptians, we have 12 gates. The Hindus had 10, and there are different lokas or layers. But let's go further into the 5 degrees of Sagittarius. The 5 degrees of Sagittarius falls into the lunar mansion of Mula Nakshatra. This is ruled by the goddess Nirtri, who represents death and transformation. It is here that she is rageful, almost Kali-like, that is here to transform and to sever us. Now, Mula represents the roots and has strong ties to familial roots. And so when we go deeper into this exact position against Sagittarius, let's look at the stars more precisely. When we say 5 degrees Sagittarius, it's literally at the point where the scorpion tail and the Sagittarian arrow meet amongst these stars. Draco the dragon will fly through here around this time, and it's the head of the dragon, also signified as transformation. This position amongst the stars is ruled by Ketu, past life, spiritual aspiration, spiritual ascension. It is a point of liberation from the material and an ascension into the higher consciousness or the divine realm of the unknown. It is a passage of portal both in and out. And the reason it's so important, especially when it falls upon a new moon or a solstice, is it is a truly pivotal point. It is where collective, we are pivoting into a completely new, not a gate as in a realm in a linear sense, but begin to think of it as a spiral, as an access into another pivotal point within transformation. As we cross this threshold and we start to dive deeper into what the ancients had said, this point will mark death and transformation. Doesn't have to be literal death, but death again is rebirth. It's also the position essentially against the access portal, the access into the higher realm. So on this new moon, prepare yourselves. Set a ceremony of severance. calm the mind, and be ready to pivot, be ready to transform, because there isn't any point within our astronomical history where a new moon or a full moon set amongst the galactic center or the gate of God did not transform humanity and the self. Be well.